What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports on the SEC channel here at the Voice of College Football, giving you my power rankings for Week 3, heading into Week 3 of the 2021 college football season. Pretty good week for the SEC this week. How about Arkansas putting it on Texas? What a dominant performance they had. Also, how about Mississippi State beating NC State? After a slow start for the Bulldogs, they come back. When I say slow start, I'm talking about in Week 1 against Louisiana Tech, but they come back this week and play really well against NC State, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So let's go through and show you the power rankings that have been updated this week, and we have seen some movement. We start at the bottom with 11 through 14. Not much movement here. Vanderbilt still remains at number 14, but they did get a win. How about Vandy beating Colorado State? So they couldn't beat an FCS opponent. Weren't even close in that game, but then they come back and they beat Colorado State. That was a bit of a surprise. Again, I don't know what happened in Week 1, but Vandy there 1-1 now. South Carolina at number 13, despite winning, they actually dropped a little bit for me. Just not a great performance against East Carolina. Lucky to win that game. East Carolina is not a great team. We saw them really get blown out, I think, by App State in Week 1. So not a good performance there from South Carolina. Yeah, they looked good in Week 1, but that was against an FCS team. But hey, good news is you're 2-0. We'll see what they do against Georgia this week. That's going to be a tough one. Tennessee at number 12. Despite a loss, I actually came away impressed a little bit with Tennessee in this game. Pittsburgh's a good football team. They got a really solid defense. And Tennessee scored some points in that game. And especially early on, they played with a lot of energy, really on both sides of the ball. Their defense came out on fire. They couldn't keep it up. And I think that's the thing with Tennessee is you're gonna notice that they just don't have the depth right now. You had too many guys leave the program after last season with the coaching change and everything. I just feel like Tennessee, that's how a lot of games are going to go for them. They'll come out early on and, their starters are pretty good. They can play with a lot of teams, but they're going to run out of gas because they just don't have that depth. And I think that's going to hurt Tennessee this year. But you see the talent. I think Josh Heupel is doing something good here at Tennessee. I think this is going to wind up being a good hire for the Vols. Despite not winning, again, came away impressed a little bit there with Tennessee. Now, Mississippi State, really impressed with them and their win over NC State, especially after the way they played in Week 1. And it's crazy how a lot of these teams change from Week 1 to Week 2. Just go back to last season. Remember, Mississippi State looked great in Week 1. We thought that this was a top 10 team, and then it turned out to not be that great of a season for the Bulldogs. But yeah, beating NC State, a pretty good team, 24-10 the final score in this game, and NC State got their only touchdown in the fourth quarter. This was a very solid win for Mississippi State, and again, I think it's really all about their defense. Holding NC State to 10 points was really big for this Mississippi State defense. You expect the offense to kind of come around at some point. That's what Mike Leach is known for, obviously. So if the offense can come around, the defense can continue to play like they played in this game and really in the fourth quarter, I guess, of that first game, the Bulldogs could wind up moving up in these rankings. Let's go to number 9 and number 10. We've got LSU at 9, Missouri at number 10. Missouri loses to Kentucky in what turned out to be a really good game. I guess that was the first SEC conference game of the season. So they're going to be 1-1 now, so that's going to keep them down here at number 10. LSU also 1-1. Not a great performance against McNeese State, but it was an FCS team, and they took care of business. They won the game. Kind of worried about LSU right now, though. After the loss to UCLA, a lot of injuries starting to pile up for them. Now we hear that John Emery's not going to be able to play the rest of the year. He's ineligible. Just things not trending in the right direction for LSU. We'll see if they can turn that around in the next few weeks as they dropped all the way down to number 9. This is a team that I expected to be hanging on to about a number 3 or 4 spot this year in the SEC rankings. Can they get back to that? Yes, but right now they are sitting here at number 9. 6, 7, and 8, we've got Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Auburn. All three teams 2-0. Auburn's a team that we just haven't seen them play against a quality opponent yet, but they've looked really good in their 2 wins against Akron and Alabama State. Both sides of the ball, they've really dominated, but that's what you expect them to do against lesser competition. Their test is going to be this Saturday against Penn State in a huge, huge game. How about SEC versus Big Ten? That's going to be a big one for the conferences, for these two teams, these two programs. Really looking forward to seeing how the Tigers do in that matchup. We've got Ole Miss at number 7. Rebels take care of business against an inferior opponent this week. They are 2-0, still looking pretty good, especially after that win over Louisville in week 1. And then Kentucky at number 6, the only team in the SEC with a conference win as they beat Missouri. It was a great game, but really Kentucky left some points on the board. I think they could have won that game a little bit easier if you don't make some of those mistakes like fumbling on the 1-yard line. But the Wildcats moving up in these rankings. I feel like 6, 7, and 8 are all pretty even right now. Kentucky just has the better win, I think, beating Missouri. We go now to the top 5. Starting at number 5, we've got Arkansas. How about the Razorbacks beating Texas? And they didn't just beat them. I mean, they destroyed them. The line of scrimmage belonged to the Razorbacks in this game on both sides of the ball. They were able to run it all day long. Their defense was just all over the place. This was an impressive victory for Arkansas. You know, I thought they had a chance in this game. I did pick Texas, but I thought either way it was going to be a close one. But no, Arkansas just went in and took care of business. I mean, this was a very impressive win, and Texas scored all of their points in the second half, 14 of those 21 in the fourth quarter. Arkansas really had this game put away, I would say, in the third quarter. So a really nice win for the Razorbacks as they are all the way up to number 5. At number 4 in these power rankings, we got Florida. Florida's 2-0. Haven't seen them really play a great team yet. We'll find out about the Gators this Saturday when they play Alabama. They could lose that game, and if it's really close, you might even see Florida move up in these rankings a little bit. It's just going to be a big-time measuring stick to see where this team is. Maybe they get blown out in that game, and they drop a little bit in these rankings. We're going to find out on Saturday. But, yeah, Florida right there at number 4. Taking care of business in their first 2 games before a big test with Alabama. Number 3 is Texas A&M. You know, I considered moving them down a little bit, but, you know, they show guts going into that fourth quarter and finding a way to beat Colorado, losing their starting quarterback who is going to be out for a while. Zach Calzada now will be the starting quarterback for them, and you have to wonder how far can they go with him at quarterback. He was not great in this game against Colorado. Really, the offense overall wasn't great. The defense bailed them out. They played fantastic, and because of that defense, you still, I think, have a chance to be a really good team if you're Texas A&M. Are they going to have a chance to beat a team like Alabama? I don't really think so, but still one of the top teams in the SEC potentially if the defense can continue to play the way that they have played and they can run the football. That's going to be really important for them. But you look at a game coming up in a couple of weeks, Texas A&M and Arkansas. Right now, you might even favor Arkansas in that game. That's going to be a really big one in the SEC West. Let's go to number 2 now. It is Georgia. Really impressed with Georgia against UAB. You come off of a huge win. I mean, a huge win against Clemson. But the offense didn't play very well in that game. But it is still a huge win. And you're playing a team in UAB that is one of the top group of 5 teams. And we've seen that now for the last several years. They've proven it. And UAB is a well-coached, quality team. And Georgia went in there and just, they beat them like it was an FCS team. I mean, it was very impressive to see what Georgia was able to do in this game. Both sides of the ball completely dominated. And Georgia looking like a team that might just be able to compete with Alabama. I mean, they did this with Stetson Bennett at quarterback. So impressed with the Bulldogs as they are at number 2 still. And then Alabama, they will remain at number 1. Despite, a little bit of a slow start against Mercer. You'd expect Alabama to be up, 28-0 at the end of the first quarter. Instead, it was just 14-0. But, maybe they didn't take it too seriously. I know Saban's really been on them. They could have played the second string and won this game. It's Mercer. But it really goes back to week 1 and what they did to Miami. That's why Alabama is sitting here at number 1. And like I said, it's going to be a big one this Saturday, Alabama versus Florida. We're going to find out a lot about both of those teams in what is the biggest game in the SEC here of maybe the month of September. So really looking forward to that one, though. That's how I would rank the teams heading into week 3. How would you rank them? Give me your power rankings down in the comments below. Give me your comments, your criticism, what you liked, what you didn't like on my power rankings in the comments as well. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more here on our SEC football channel.